Sign up to the SBR Network and use your free daily bet points to earn real-world prizes. Click on the page and start winning now. Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. We are talking right now with Nick Kalikas from MMA Odds Breaker. We're giving an early preview of the Lyoto Machida Chris Weidman fight in UFC 175. It's going to take place on July 5th. Right now we're in late May, and right now we're going to take a look at the odds, the opening odds, where they are right now and where they might move. And Nick is the perfect person, of course, to discuss that with, because he is himself an opener of MMA lines and a consultant for numerous sports books on MMA lines making. Nick, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, right now, currently, as of late May, the line is Weidman minus 240, Lyoto Machida plus 200. My first question is, where'd you open this line? And my second thought is just, if it's a fight like this, a huge fight like this, it's going to take a lot of action. Your opening lines are not going to be too far off, right? I mean, there's no way you're going to open a line that's 50 cents off from where it should be, right?
No, that's not the case. I actually opened Weidman minus 150, and like you just mentioned, it's minus 240 right now. So some support on Weidman. I mean, we've had some decent movement on this fight. And it's a little bit surprising. I mean, it's hard to gauge. Both of these guys get so much tremendous respect from the betting public out there and the diehard MMA fans too. So in most situations, you put up a line on these guys, they're a decent favorite in most situations. So it was kind of hard to gauge exactly which way the public was going to come in here with the respect factor for both guys. But obviously, they're hopping all over Weidman.
All right. Well, the main topic of this call is at what odds would we think that Machida is worth a bet? How big of dog odds would we need in order to want to bet him? And right now at plus 200, I think that's big enough. What do you think, Nick?
I agree, honestly. I think this situation is definitely dog or pass. There's a lot of concerns in this fight about Weidman. I know he's had some great wins over, like you said, Anderson Silva. And before that, I mean, he's had some good Ws. I mean, he beat Munoz, dominated Munoz. He's got some impressive performances, no doubt about it. But, I mean, in this fight, I think it's a different test. It's a different beast in Machida that he's going to be facing. So this is going to be, I think, the hardest test for him to date. So I do think there is some value at plus 200 and on down even. I mean, I think the line will eventually drop back down. I think Weidman probably closes under 2-1, so you're not going to see the plus 200 out there for long. But it all depends, because there are some heavy bettors that are going to be sold on the factor that we mentioned before of Weidman beating the man twice. And that is going to come into play. So if there's the heavy bettors out there, it may not necessarily be sharp action, but maybe some heavy action coming in on Weidman. I mean, you could see the industry kind of lean back over. So it's hard to tell where it's going to close, but I would think it closes under 2-1.
Yeah, I mean, we already discussed that stylistically, this is going to be a very different fight than the Silva fight with Weidman. And, you know, at this level of competition, with this level of talent, having an underdog of plus 200, I feel like that's always something you want to look pretty hard at, right?
Yeah, and like matchups are everything, as we said. And I think in this spot, I mean, look, Machida's faced top-notch wrestlers before in his past, and he's had some success. Now, of course, some of those, you know, have been close decisions as well. But again, I think the more this fight takes place, the longer it goes. I think the edge definitely swings in Machida's favor. I think there's a lot more question marks behind Weidman right now. I mean, we've seen Machida can go 5 strong rounds. Machida's been in there with some of the best. His resume from top to bottom is more impressive than Weidman's to this date, minus the Anderson Silva factor, of course. But so there's a lot more question marks, I think, behind Weidman. And this is coming from a guy that actually has wagered on Weidman in his last couple fights against Anderson Silva. So I did have faith in him. I know what you get with him. He's a tremendous fighter. He's a tremendous champion. But matchups are everything. And at the plus money where it is now, or even remotely close to that, definitely worth a stab at Machida. All
right, so is the payout high enough to bet the dog here? I think it is at plus 200, and the question is, what are the odds that Lyoto Machida actually wins? How low would you go? Would you go to 150 and still bet him?
I think so, honestly. I think there's, you know, still some value, because this, in my opinion, I mean, it's just a slight favor towards Weidman. I mean, he can end things on the feet. I think actually that's how he's going to probably have to end things. I think, like I said, the takedowns are probably going to be neutralized, especially after round 1, as the fight drags on. So I think he's going to have to kind of finish Machida. If not, Machida's style, his angles, his movement, especially when it goes in round 3, round 4, and round 5, if it does hit the championship rounds, I think Machida's going to start taking over the fight. I mean, it's going to be pretty clear who the better striker is. So I do think there's value. I mean, considering that it's a slight lean towards Weidman, plus 150 even has value.
All right, Nick Kalikas from MMAOddsBreaker.com. Thanks so much for your early thoughts on the odds for Lyoto Machida, Chris Weidman.